So we're on our way to Holt Lake Lodge, and we're hunting bear and going after big lake trout. I'm thinking this has got to be a good sign.
This big around.
Double header.
Bushnell presents Prairie Pursuit, brought to you by Bushnell Canada. Never miss. Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable. JB Sausage Supply. Visit jbsausagesupply.com. North Pro Sports, performance archery and arms. Trail Runners K9 Training Center and Labrador Retriever Dogs and Puppies. Holt Lake Lodge Adventures.
Morning.
Morning.
What's going on?
Well, we just got all the gear on the weigh scale here, and they're checking to make sure that we're light enough. And in about an hour, we're going to be in the air, heading up to Holt Lake Lodge.
So Holt Lake is right in the very middle of northern Saskatchewan Canadian Shield country. This is all classic Canadian Shield.
Been in isolation way too long. And now we're gonna go isolate even more.
So we got the plane loaded up. We passed our weight restrictions, so we're going to get this thing in the air.
Where's my face mask actually for COVID?
What could go wrong? It's 2020.
Prairie Pursuit 2020, that's right. COVID edition.
There's lots to prepare for, and you also got to keep in mind your weight restrictions on the float planes. That's another tricky thing to stay under too, when you're only allowed, approximately 300 pounds per guy. That's including your own weight. That doesn't leave a lot of room. So you got to pack smart. You got to bring only what you need, and hopefully you got enough room for a little bit of food and definitely a few beverages.
All right, we're just approaching the town of Pachinak over here. Pachinak's on the Churchill River system. It's an old historical community based on the fur trade route. We got the Churchill River system to the south of us right now. This Churchill River flows east and eventually dumps into Hudson Bay in the Atlantic Ocean. Real historical area in Saskatchewan, pretty cool to be passing this area.
This time of year, early September, mid-September, you could get 20-degree days. You could get snow. So the pack is pretty tough. You've got to pack essentially for 4 seasons.
We came in on a float plane, landed in front of the lodge, pulled up, unloaded off the dock. We were here for the week. It's unbelievable up here at Holt Lake Lodge.
I've never been on a float plane before. Never been obviously into a fly-in outfitter. I really didn't know what to expect when we got here.
This is a Canadian Shield lake, right in the heart of the Canadian Shield, which means lots of rock. You drive anywhere along the lake, and even flying in, you can see the topography with steep rock outcrop, steep cliffs. Look like granite cliffs to me. I have a background in geology, and there's lots of granite up here, hard rock, and that translated right into the lake.
Classic Shield country. Look at that, 5-6 pound, very dark, orange fins. They've just been a blast to catch.
About a 3 to 4 pound trout.
Lots of numbers catching, lots of trout, lots of pike, and we're gonna have some fish to take home.
Nice hands. Butterfingers.
Been on other bear hunts before. I've either set one up myself or I've been to another outfitter, and yeah, you can quad in, but this is not only a float plane in to the middle of nowhere, but we're hopping in a boat. We're driving 6 miles down the lake, dropping us off to sit in a ground blind with a bow and arrow to hunt a big black bear that really probably hasn't seen many humans before.
That's right. Having this lake in the Canadian Shield, it makes it pretty remote. You're disconnected from your phone. You have no way of contacting anybody other than satellite phone, if it works and if you can get out.
Give the camera a swat.
The baits are definitely getting hit. This one was hit again. Kim's got a couple good secrets on what he uses and how he brings the bears in. We're gonna carry on and go to a few other baits.
Looks like this save was hit pretty hard, eh? Been rolled 2 days in a row now.
No shortage of bears.
Going down.
So far we've been sitting for about 4 hours and haven't seen anything. It's a windy night though. Wind picked up. Overcast. Just haven't seen anything tonight. But this bear comes in a trail from behind us at 5 yards. So, and we didn't even see it. We didn't even see this bear until it was like on the bait, and it had already walked past us at 5 yards. So, it's a nice bear. It's amazing how quiet and soft, like how quiet the bears, or any animal probably for that matter, can walk through these bushes. It's like a great big sponge everywhere.
The bear hunting up here at Holt Lake Lodge is world class. They got some big bears. He sent the missile right through the Boilermaker.
I don't think you went very far. He's just rolling down into it. So we are in the second week of September 2020, and a few months ago Calvin called me up and asked me if I wanted to come on a hunting and a fishing trip with him in northern Saskatchewan to Holt Lake Lodge. And man, are we glad we made this trip. It's been just fantastic.
Thank you for choosing us.
Yeah, you betcha. All right, so now we are 20 after 7 and it's dark at 8. We're a few miles from camp by boat. We got a little bit of work to do to get this guy loaded up, cleaned up, and a little bit of celebration tonight because it's just been an awesome few days. So let's get to work. Look at this place. We've caught a pile of trout in this lake. My own Mike and Brian, they've taught us a little bit about trout fishing this week, and they've caught hundreds, literally caught hundreds of trout in this lake.
Oh yeah, this guy's got some shoulders for sure.
No doubt, dude. This is a good fish.
This is the biggest one of the weekend, absolutely, hands down.
They're not an easy fish to catch if you don't know. If you don't know what you're doing, it might be tough to catch them. But if you get those techniques,
Double header.
they're out there. There's a lot of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. How you doing, Greg? Well, I'm not a monster. So this is one of the trout here at Holt Lake are pretty dark. This is probably some of the darkest fish we've seen, but beautiful colors. This one's probably going to be about 7 or 8 pounds, but just beautiful, beautiful fish. And lots of them.
We've obviously had the luxury of having Brian and Mike out here to teach us that.
Roll again.
And it's been fantastic.
Another Holt Lake Laker.
Good thing we got Mike Bork out here teaching us how to catch these things.
Fish on.
We've been really working on the lake trout. We've got some real nice lake trout on this trip so far.
Fish on. I love fishing lake trout. But we didn't have the opportunity to catch a whole lot of lake trout around Regina. So to come up here with the opportunity to catch a lake trout, that was our primary focus.
There we go. No worse for the wear.
You know, fishing lake trout, they're down at the bottom. You know, they're a deep water fish. We were fishing water, 110 feet of water, and just with conventional crankbaits or spoons, you're not getting down that far. So we primarily used pink ladies, 3-way swivel rigs, and also jigs. We did a lot of jigging. That's probably my favorite way to catch a lake trout, and it's easy to get down to the bottom, but you need substantial jigs. We were using bare minimum 2-ounce jigs.
Like laundry. Well, we ate a lot of fish, which you would expect in fish camp and bear camp.
Haven't done that in a while.
Olive oil and maple syrup mixed together to baste the fish. 200 to 220 degrees for a couple hours and we'll eat. We'll dab that grease off of them with a paper towel. Good times at Holt Lake.
We're cooking some supper up. We got some fresh fish, and we're going to use some JB's lemon pepper.
We ate like kings.
He was in the lilies. And was...
Oh God, the food we had this week. I think I probably put on 10 pounds in this last week.
Oh, you guys made that far down. Really, it depends on the people you're with, and we had a great crew up here.
First group that came in, Wayne and Kathleen, they were fishermen. They knew what they were doing. We pointed them in the right direction, gave them a few techniques and a few tactics, and they were off on their own.
Ken and Brandon came up for the second half, and they're a lot of fun too. They're quite the pair.
Hey, I'm Brian. Hi, Ken. Good to meet you, man. Some of them didn't know how to fish or haven't fished much.
We set them up every morning. We set them up the rigs that we were going to use. We showed them the 3-way swivel rigs. We showed them the big jigs. We gave them some of our equipment to get down that deep.
It's a good fish.
And it was awesome to watch these guys come up who have never fished, never driven a boat before, and to catch some trout and catch some pike was a lot of fun.
They were catching pike all day long. They caught lake trout. They were deep fishing, catching trout.
I take more enjoyment out of watching them now, and that's what this is about.
OSY is an oilfield rental sales company.
We rent out flaring equipment, so flare stacks, flare knockout drums, separators. We got super excited. Brandon's woo woo, and all of a sudden there's these huge splashes, and we kind of reeling in this. That was like this big around. The eyes on that thing were, oh, it was unreal. Flipping net wasn't big enough.
Want me to come over there and net for you?
Sure would have been great to get a picture of that beauty. It was, like I say, it was. You know, the OSY crew that came, they were a lot of fun. They're pretty generous. They do a lot in the local communities for other people. They're a great company to have stand behind us. Yeah, we'll fly you in there.
This is remote. You can only fly into this lake, but we're talking 60, 70 miles from civilization. Extremely remote. Even when we were taking the boats out, we were covering a lot of area. We'd bring a little bit of a survival kit with us, matches and stuff. If the boat breaks down, we got to spend a night here. It's his wilderness.
It's an off the grid, it's a way off the grid camp.
Bear hunting here is world class.
The bears that are here are absolutely outstanding.
Bugs are awful. Okay. So you just heard the boat take off. We're in the middle of northern Saskatchewan, where we've never been before, and just put a bunch of food out for bears. Call us crazy. There is nobody out here except us, and the boat just dropped us off. We have a bow and arrow. That's about it. Literally in the middle of nowhere. Ridiculous amount of bugs. I thought he was gonna come right through the bush. Me too.
He was running up the hill.
I was ready to climb the tree myself. Nice shot. That's a big bear. That happened fast. We sat for half hour, not even 20 minutes. Beauty. It's a good bear. That's a good bear. Good bear, Tom. That was fast. There was no mistake in this bear when he came in.
Little piece of me was a little jealous. That was a stud of a bear that Calvin shot.
I thought he was gonna leave, and I sent a missile at him just before he left, and we got him. So we're pretty happy, and we're gonna get this guy back to camp.
Well, just the size and the coats on these bears. I did a lot of bear guiding, and this time of year, I love getting bears this time of year because they're getting ready for fall. Their coats are about as thick as they're gonna get. It was pretty Pretty amazing coat.
Well, after we shot him, he actually came right at us in the ground blind, and I don't know what happened. I think I maybe threw my bow and was scrambling a bit, and Greg stayed on him with the camera, and he went no more than 20 yards and he expired.
So in 3 days, these guys had 2 world-class bears on the ground that, again, I was envious of. And to be honest with you, I even thought about hanging up the fishing rod and going after bears for the last few nights.
I'm sure glad you guys chose us.
Right on.
Thanks
a lot. When you're up here with all the guys and everybody's having a good time and you're eating well, you're catching lots of fish, you're seeing big bears and you're shooting big bears, you can't beat it.
It was a lot of fun, actually, and I really enjoyed my time up here.
I'm satisfied. It was a really good fishing trip.
If you are really truly thinking about an exceptional place to sit on your own and recharge and go for a giant Saskatchewan black bear, this is the place to be.
You're gonna come here, you're gonna catch lots of lake trout, there's lots of pike, you're gonna eat well, and leave with a bunch of good memories. A special thanks to Dallas and Lynn Cairns from OSY Rentals, and Brad and Kim Hoffman with Holt Lake Lodge for this great opportunity.
Bushnell presents Prairie Pursuit, brought to you by Bushnell Canada. Never miss. Hornady, accurate, deadly, dependable. JB's Sausage Supply. Visit jbsausagesupply.com. North Pro Sports, performance archery and arms. Trail Runners K9 Training Center and Labrador Retriever Dogs and Puppies. Holt Lake Lodge Adventures.
Well, what'd you guys think of the Holt Lake trip?
That was good. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that was fun, eh?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So tell me you guys latched onto a big pike. Because that was a little bit too small for this fish. So I booked a ticket.
Oh yeah, where are you guys going?
Back to Holt Lake Lodge.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go up there and try and get my fife of diamonds back.